Why done is the new perfect. Today on the Landlord Coach Daily Show, let's drop the needle.
Five, four, three, two, one, zero, ignition, liftoff.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Landlord Coach Daily Show. My name is Mark Dolfini, host of the Landlord Coach Daily Show and Landlord Coach. It's good to see you. I hope you had an awesome weekend. And we are in mid-blizzard conditions here. And I think it's pretty much going all over the Midwest and the United States. There just seems to be this polar vortex does not want to seem to let up. So I think 2021 is coming in with a bang. So we're always like ready to be done with 2020, but here we have to be careful what we ask for, I suppose. Anyway, so welcome to the show. Today, what we're going to be talking about is done is the new perfect. And this is something that I heard about from, I've actually heard this a couple times, but the person who probably brought it most to clarity for me was this guy named Joe McCall. Joe McCall and I are friends here on Facebook, and I've got kind of a self-assumed mentor. I've been watching him and what he's been doing, and whether Joe knows that or not, I'm not sure. That sounds a little creepy and stalker-like, but anyway, I appreciate what Joe does. Joe's a fellow real estate investor. He does stuff that's very different from what I do. He doesn't really do the buy and hold model. He does something called wholesaling lease options, and his stuff is just, he's a really smart dude, just really, really smart guy. So if you're looking for an alternative way to invest in real estate, doesn't take a lot of money, but he's got some pretty cool stuff out there. But one of the things that I heard him say is that done is the new perfect, and that was, I heard that originally, I think, in the ClickFunnels community, Russell Brunson and all those guys. But I do not know Russell Brunson, but just kind of watch a lot of stuff that he does. But if you've ever been into any sort of funnel where you've bought something through Facebook, typically, but not necessarily, doesn't have to be exclusively through Facebook. But a lot of people use ClickFunnels, which once you see the format, you kind of go, oh, that's a ClickFunnels format. You wouldn't otherwise know, but done is the new perfect. And the whole point of that was you can spend years on something trying to get it perfect and trying to get, in this particular in this particular context, it was about creating marketing ads and marketing copy. And I was reminded of a kind of a painting with a purpose thing that we had done with my good friend James Martin, and he's a really talented painter. So they would do this thing where you bring a bunch of people in and you pay a couple dollars, and the purpose was for cancer awareness. He and my former colleague Jamie, his sister, she used to work. I won't say work for me. She used to work with me with my property management company, and they lost their mother to cancer. So they were doing this painting with a purpose thing. And one of the things that I remember about this was we were doing, painting the palm trees and painting the sunset and painting all this other stuff. And I was like, wow, and I'm screwing with the background. I'm screwing with this, and you could just keep going on. And he's like, yeah, fade that out a little bit more and do this. And I'm like, man, you could just keep doing this. He's like, yeah, it's like it technically just never, ever done until you finally just say, I'm done. I need to stop messing with this thing. And it's kind of like that with this, going back to the world of ClickFunnels that I was talking about, or marketing copy, where it's not just the look of the page, whether it's the color, oh, let me try that different background color, let me try this, whether it's more pleasing to the eye, but it's also about the ad copy. I mean, it's very much of an art form in terms of the advertising copy, meaning the written word that's on there, right? So I say this in the context, of course, this is a real estate show, I suppose, but to bring that into the at least the world of real estate, I know there's a lot of people that I talk to that come to my into my circle that want to write books, and maybe they're real estate people and they want to write books, or maybe they're just general coaches, or maybe they just want to write a book, whatever that is, and I remember in my first passage of, it was the Time Wealthy Investor, the first version, it was the first time I've ever written a book, And it was the first time I ever was just getting published. So I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was just kind of faking it and going along with it and going through the motions. Now, if I had to publish a book, it would be a way, way easier process just because I've been through it 3 times now. And by the time the third time came around, I pretty much understood it. But it was really interesting because the first time, and I was getting ready to send my first draft to my editor, to the person who was doing the editing, I had gone through that copy probably 5 or 6 different times. And every single time I went through it, I thought, okay, this is the final version. We're good. And then I'd review it one more time. And then, of course, I'd find another thing. And I was like, oh my God, like this is going on and on and on. And of course, the formatting wasn't right. And I changed one thing, then it doesn't flip over to the next page right. So I had to change all that. It was just an ongoing, never-ending cycle. And as a result, the editing on the first draft was really hard to do because I was screwing with things so much and it just kept messing with the formatting. And of course, then when my editor came back and was telling me how much it was difficult to read because I kept screwing with things, she's like, look, just submit to me the thing, what you're trying to do. Don't try to make it perfect. That's what you're hiring the editor for, right? So meanwhile, I'm trying to make it perfect to send it off to editing when the whole purpose of the editor was to make it perfect, right? Like I was making it more difficult on myself than was necessary. So there's so often, this concept reminded me of, or this concept came back to fruition for me just over the weekend. I was invited to speak to a local landlords association, which was really good. I mean, they were really, really plugged in. For it being a Saturday night at 7 o'clock, I was like, wow, this is this is really amazing that there were so many people that were looking for us, to hear what I had to present. And there was a couple questions, and a few people had followed up with me after the fact that it was like, well, I see what you're talking about, but I want to wait till I get everything dialed in before I put this in place. And I'm thinking, man, how long is that going to be before you try to get something perfect on one side when you're really just all you're doing is wasting a lot of time. Done is the new perfect. Just get it down and then get it right later. You're not going to get everything right up front. You didn't learn to speak English or whatever language is your native language. You didn't learn to speak that language perfect on your first try. You used kind of baby babble and you tried different words and you mispronounced them. And then, when you started pronouncing things more accurately, you'd get praised, right? Like that's the way that we all learn. Yet when we get into the entrepreneurial realm, we feel like we have to have it absolutely unlocked, absolutely perfect. My first deal in real estate has got to be absolutely knock the cover off the ball. I can't wait to get in there and do it. Like, there's certain mistakes you can avoid to make sure that it's not a mess, but it's not going to be perfect. And I think coming to the realization for that early is what's going to get you moving. There's a lot of people that I have run into that are getting ready to get ready, which means they never do anything. There's, in order for there to be success, there's got to be some activity beyond that. And somebody had said something recently to me about knowledge being power, and I thought, well, that is true but knowledge in and of itself isn't power. It's got to be actionable knowledge. It's got to be knowledge that's relevant to you, and there's got to be tied to some sort of activity, right? You can't just have, well, knowledge is power. No, I think there's actually has to be activity tied in that. If I gave you the winning numbers of the lottery tonight, and they were 100% certain to be lottery winning numbers, and you did nothing with them, well, what's that going to do with you? The knowledge in and of itself is not power. Knowledge tied to something that's relevant to you. Yes, I'd like $100 million. That's relevant to most people. And okay, and it's tied to some sort of activity that you want to do, then okay, there you go. Knowledge in that particular case checks all those boxes. But I think that we wait for perfection, to like, well, I want to make sure that they're exactly the right numbers before well, how do you know? There's never any certainty. I'm just giving you my best guess for numbers, and it's going to cost you $1 to find out. And if you do find out, you'd be, have more money than you probably would ever know to do with. But that's why I'm thinking, like, this came to my forefront today just because I run into this conversation all the time, because the Time Wealthy Investor 2.0 is about putting systems in place and getting them down and then getting them right later. You're not going to get them all right up front. And I also run into people who are like, well, let me go ahead and buy 10 units and then I'll put this stuff in place. That's exactly what got me into the problems that I got into, because I had so many units that I never budgeted to put this stuff in place up front. As a result, I couldn't afford to. I had to keep doing all the work because I couldn't afford to put any of those systems in place. So that's why, to me, this is such an important consideration to put systems in place. I don't care if you use the VIP method or not. I mean, to me, the VIP method is really, really easy. And I'm not here to promote the book. If you'd like a free copy of the book, I'll give you a website here you can go to here in just a second. You can get, all I ask you to do is pay for shipping. But if you go there and you learn about that, the VIP method, that's a pretty easy format for you to learn how to, how to create a vision for where you actually want to go. What are you building this business all for in the first place? Then what's the infrastructure pieces that you're going to need? What types of properties are you going to buy? How are you going to buy them? Like, what's the best way to get the best deals on them? And then after that, what are the processes you're going to put in place on that infrastructure? On the software systems and the all the bones of the business that you're putting together, right? So what's all that stuff that you're putting, that you're putting all this stuff together on the front end? You're not trying to bake the cake and then all of a sudden go, oh wait, maybe this would have been great with sprinkles. Go run to the store and go get sprinkles, right? You've already got all the ingredients that you need. You've already baked it in the cake. You don't have to wait and go try to, bolt stuff on later and after the fact, because then it's just wonky and it's going to be much more difficult. If you bake it in the cake up front, it's going to be much more easier for you to have a business that runs well and without all of your daily input. So, let's see if there's anybody saying hello. I don't think there's anybody there. I've got a few people watching. Hello. Thanks. I'm not sure who's there, but if you want to say hello, hopefully you're not getting near as much snow as we are. So it has definitely been a snowy day. But I'm going to go ahead and give you the website. If you want to go to landlordcoach.com/videos, there's some cool videos there that you can watch. They are for free. And there's some other stuff there. If you'd like a copy of the Time Wealthy Investor 2.0, just for the all I'm asking you to do is cover shipping, and I will get you a copy. I'm actually a little low on books right now, so I have to wait for a couple days for stuff to come in. So if you order them today, I might have to wait a couple days for them to come in before I can send them out. And if you'd like them signed, that would make the book truly worthless. In fact, you couldn't even give it away at that point. So the only thing you could do is keep it or hold up the short leg of a table, or maybe, I don't know, maybe learn from it. But that's all I have for today. All right, well, please be sure to place a value on your free time, because if you don't, someone else will. But most important, there is no amount of money that will make time irrelevant. Have an awesome rest of your day. Stay safe, and don't break your back shoveling a bunch of snow. Just take it easy. The snow will take care of itself. Have a great day. Take good care. We'll see you next time.